Your Excellency, in the keynote address at the 38th Annual General Meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges, he said, and I quote, "I'm keenly aware of my roots in this organization, and I can assure you that while I remain Chief Justice, the interests of judges and magistrates in Ghana will never be ignored." And indeed today could be another manifestation of that pledge. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Chief Justice of the Republic, His Lordship Justice Kwesi Nhyiaeso. It's also with modesty that I introduce the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, Lawyer Godfred Yawa Dame. Your Excellency, it's again with delight that I recognize the immediate past Chief Justice, Her Lordship Sophia Akufo. We have our host who lives close here, the Honorable Minister for Ashanti, the working one, Honorable Simon Osei Mensah. And it's on these notes that I invite the Ashanti Regional Minister to give us the welcome address.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana at the shoulder. And we need to get a list of such competent contractors. I take this opportunity to congratulate my former colleague and sister, Honorable Lawyer Na Toshi, for the support she's giving to the judiciary and the government in funding this project. Now, you are done for the judiciary. It's left with Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. Without taking much time, I also congratulate the Chief Justice. He was almost every week here in Kumasi to inspect this particular project. Your Excellency and Your Royal Majesty, I also thank you. I remember when you came here to cut the sword, and you requested that I don't want this project to be one of those that when commenced, then at a point will get stalled. Your wishes, Your Royal Majesty and Your Excellency have come true. The contractor has actually delivered, and it's a delight to watch. I don't see this as a complex. I see this as a community on its own. On this note, once again, I welcome all of you to Kumasi, and especially to the commissioning of this magnificent community. Thank you. May the Almighty God bless us all. Thanks.
The Working Minister, Honorable Simon Osei Mensah. Thank you very much. Last night I was here, and by the courtesy of the Chief Justice, I was taken around. First question that came in, is this open to public, or is just for judges at the peace court? They gave me a warning not to ask that question again. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing the inauguration of the residential complex for appeal court judges. And I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Minister of Energy, Honorable Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, a.k.a. Napo. Again, the Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Honorable Cecilia Abena Dapa. Accept our sympathies and condolence. Again, recognize the presence of the member of the Council of State, Mrs. Georgina Kusi, here with us on grace occasion. Thank you very much, Mom. The Minister of Food and Agriculture, Honorable Dr. Owusu Afriya Koto, aka Plantain for Food and Jobs. Here with us is the Honorable Minister for Roads and Highways, Honorable Akufo-Addo. And again, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Mampo Hima, Nana Ajakuma Difie, also here to grace the occasion. And the man who was referred to as Kash. I recognize the presence of the Minister of Trade and Industry, Honorable Alan Kojo Tremartin. Your Excellency, I also recognize the presence of the Mahine of Tachiman Traditional Area, who is also a lawyer, Osiadeyo Akufo-Addo the Fourth. Yes. Your Excellency, I'd like to invite the Deputy Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, Honorable Collins in team, to give us a remark.
Thank you. Your Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, the Ashanti Hene, Your Lordship Justice Nhyiaeso, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, Nananom, members of the Council of State, Honorable Deputy Speakers, Parliament of Ghana, our hard-working Majority Leader, Honorable Ministers of State, the Honorable Ashanti Regional Minister, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the Judiciary, the clergy, the Regional Chief Imam, Honorable Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executive, Coordinating Directors, Heads of Decentralized Department, my hard-working Administrator of the District Assembly Common Fund, Honorable Assembly Members, distinguished invited guests, the media, ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely happy as I stand in for the Honorable Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, His Honor Daniel Boche, the MP for Okere, to be part of this historic occasion to officially hand over and commission the Court of Appeal Residential Complex here at Jemi in Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Indeed, the provision of this ultramodern edifice is in line with Section 12(3)(h) of the Local Governance Act 2016 Act 936, which stipulates that a district assembly shall ensure a ready access to courts in the district for promotion of justice. Your Excellency, as part of effort to achieve the provisions of the Act, the Judicial Council in January 2019 appealed to the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development to request regional ministers, metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives to take steps to comply with the statutory obligations towards the promotion of justice by constructing courthouses and residential accommodation for the judges and magistrates in all regions of Ghana, particularly the 6 newly created regions. Your Excellency, following this request and consistent with the vision of Mr. President, the former Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, Honor Hajia Alim Amama, initiated consultations and discussions with the then Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Sophia Akufo, and continued by the current Chief Justice, His Lordship Justice Nhyiaeso, and the Administrator of the District Assembly Common Fund, Mrs. Arenato Shilati. Subsequently, the ministry initiated and facilitated the construction of 130 number courthouses, including 10 number two-story double court buildings and 120 number residential accommodation for judges and magistrates across the country. Your Excellency, it is generally believed that justice delayed is justice denied. However, despite the importance of this moral precept, the ministry and the District Assembly Common Fund realize that the administration of justice across the country is seriously constrained by the paucity of judicial infrastructure, particularly courthouses and bungalows in many district assemblies across the length and breadth of our dear country. It is with a view to reverse this situation that the ministry saw the need to urgently provide the district assemblies with this infrastructure as part of efforts by government to expand the frontiers of justice and democracy in our dear country, thereby contributing to deepening decentralization in Ghana. In this regard, court cases can be dispensed with more expeditiously as justice will be administered at the doorsteps of the local people. Your Excellency, this project, which is seeing its colorful handing over and commissioning today, is aimed at providing permanent residential accommodation to the appeal court judges in the middle and the northern sectors of the country, and it comprised 20 number two-story bungalows with an attached clubhouse, a guest house, a tennis court, a swimming pool, as well as a 2 number three-story buildings, which seeks to provide additional 6 flats for other judges. Your Excellency, the Ministry and the District Assembly Common Fund would like to express our profound gratitude to His Royal Majesty, the Ashanti Otumfuo-Osei, who readily embraced this idea, graciously donated 7 acres of land in this prime area of Kumasi Metropolis to support this project at 0 cost to the state. Your Excellency, at 0 cost to the state. Otumfuo, Yamau Ayiko, Ohene, Ganama Adawasi. Your Excellency, as indicated earlier, apart from this edifice, the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development is also delivering additional 120 bungalows as flats to judges and another 130 number courthouses nationwide to support your vision of enhancing the image of the judicial system in the country. I am happy, Your Excellency, to report that about 70% of this project have been completed and ready to be handed over for commissioning. The remaining 30% are at various stages of completion and will be ready for commissioning within the first quarter of next year. Mr. President, it is important to note that the Judicial Service has never seen such a huge promotion and investment of this nature since Gajisberg's time. I am humbly, therefore, urge His Lordship, the Chief Justice, to hold himself in readiness to take over this project and to post judicial personnel to start using these facilities for the benefit of Ghanaians. In conclusion, Mr. President, it is my greatest pleasure, and on behalf of the Honorable Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, His Honor Daniel Bochi, the entire ministry, the Office of the Administrator of Common Fund, to hand over this completed and fully furnished Court of Appeal residential complex to the judicial service to enhance the work of the judicial service in the country. It is our expectation that the facility will be properly maintained and put to good use for many years. Thank you, and may God bless us all. Thank you.
Yeah, another round of applause for the Deputy Minister who's here to represent the substantive Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, Honorable Dan Boche. Your Excellency, we have about 30 members of Parliament here with us, including the First Deputy Speaker, the Second Deputy Speaker.
A very brief comment from the parliamentary group. I stand before you to speak on behalf of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Local Government and Rural Development, and also representing the leader of Parliament and our deputy speakers, and also the leadership of two important committees of Parliament, the Judicial Committee and the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. Mr. President, this project received overwhelming and endorsement from the Local Government Committee of Parliament when the Administrator of District Assembly Common Fund submitted the proposal for consideration by the committee before the Parliament Committee of the Whole. Mr. President, I'm happy to report that when the Committee of the Whole sat to deliberate on the approval for this important project, Mr. President, the usual partisan nature that sometimes characterize our debates and deliberations did not appear at all when we were considering this particular project. And Mr. President, if you look around, the members from both houses, the majority, the majority, minority, are all present to witness this commissioning. And this is a very, very important point that I want everybody here to understand, that Parliament will always continue to support the judiciary to deliver. Mr. President, in our respective views, it's a laudable collaboration between the executive and the judiciary, acting through the Ministry of Local Government and Decentralization and Rural Development and the District Assembly Common Fund, that has brought to fruition this important project. I must make the point that, as it has been said already, that this is not just the project that the Common Fund is supporting. There are other bungalows and other court buildings spread across districts, municipal assemblies, which the committee has visited some of the projects. And I can say that the quality of work that has been done is very, very, very impressive. While commending your good self, Your Excellency the President, for the vision and passion for the support for the judiciary, we must also give compliment to the Administrator of the District Assembly Common Fund, Mrs. Nhyiaeso and her outfit for ably steering the process to deliver such a beautiful edifice within a record time. Mr. President, to the Honorable Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, we say Ayiko for supporting the project. To my fellow committee members, I applaud your commitment and support. And also to the contractor, when we visited the site, the work that was being done, we were very sure that within record time, as we are witnessing today, they will deliver this quality work to the Judicial Service. On this memorable occasion, may I assure the Honorable Chief Justice and the Judiciary of the committee's avowed commitment and support in any future endeavor. Lordship, we are aware that this is not the only challenge. There are other regions that also need this kind of support. And the committee, the Parliament, and the District Assembly Common Fund, we are ready if such proposals come before us. I would like to conclude by wishing the Honorable Chief Justice, the Judiciary, all the best in the years ahead. May the favor of God be with us all. Thank you all for the attention and the opportunity. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. The Chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, Honorable Akufo-Addo, thank you so much. I'd like to invite the Attorney General, Lawyer Godfrey Dame, to also give us a brief remark. Shall we welcome the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice?
His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Akufo-Addo, His Royal Majesty, 16th Ashanti Akufo-Addo II, the Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic, my Lord Justice Nhyiaeso, Her Ladyship Sophia Akufo, former Chief Justice of Ghana, Justices of the Supreme Court of Ghana, Justices of the Superior Court of Judicature here in Gadet, Honorable Ministers of State and Deputy Ministers of State, the Honorable First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and Honorable Second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the Ashanti Regional Minister, our host, Deputy Attorney General and Deputy Minister for Justice, Alfred Nhyiaeso, the distinguished administrator of the District Assembly's Common Fund, and indeed it should be appropriate for me to call her our benefactor, members of the Judicial Council, President of the Ghana Bar Association, Mr. Champon Boafo, members of the Ghana Bar Association, members of the clergy, and the Ashanti Chief Imam, friends and media, ladies and gentlemen. I am elated to be called upon to present these remarks. My elation stems from a few irrefutable facts. In 2008, President J. Akufo, with the object of boosting the efficiency of the services of Ghana's Court of Appeal, commissioned the Court of Appeal building in Kumasi. It was an innovation that would forever change the justice delivery landscape of our country, as for the first time, litigants in the northern sector would experience a hearing and determination of appeals in cases emanating from the High Court and Circuit Court without the drudgery of traveling to Accra. This innovation was, however, severely hampered by the lack of accommodation to house the Justice of Appeal assigned for the conduct of cases. In the circumstances, sitting was reduced to 1 week in a month, a situation that has prevailed to date. The enormous cost, inconvenience, and risk encountered by Justice of Appeal in traveling to and from Kumasi for sittings of the Court of Appeal were more than apparent. Attempts by the Mills Mahama administration to cure the problem with the construction of 4 bungalows for the Court of Appeal Justice failed, as same was plagued by a lack of funding. Indeed, I am informed that despite the yearly provision in every budget of the Judicial Service since 2011, the project, which was scheduled to be completed within 18 months, was never completed, with the result that after 10 years, by 2021, only 2 of the buildings had merely reached lintel level, with the other 2 still at foundation level. Today, we stand here to commission not 4 bungalows, but 20 4-bedroom bungalows, each with a 2-bedroom outhouse for Justice for Appeal posted to Kumasi. The accompanying amenities on this 7-acre piece of land make it even richer and provide a more congenial atmosphere for a discharge of judicial functions. A 7-bedroom guest house, a clubhouse, a swimming pool, tennis court, fully asphalted internal road network, and a facility management office. And remarkably, it has been done within a period of just 17 months, having commenced at the end of April 2021. Mr. President, at the salt cutting ceremony of the Law Village, the new premises for the Ghana School of Law, in September 2022, I observed that certain developments in recent past, particularly at activities undertaken by your government, which possess a long-term effect on transforming the fiscal development of legal institutions in the country, makes it appropriate that we christen the era in which we live as the golden age of infrastructure development of the law. Apart from this plush residential complex for the Court of Appeal in Kumasi, the construction of 100 courthouses and 120 bungalows for judges of the various courts across the country is aggressively being pursued. I am aware that 70% of these courthouses have been completed, with the remaining 30% set to be completed next year. By the time the entire complement of courthouses and bungalows is handed over to the Judicial Service, only a period of 3 years would have been spent on their construction. It is correct to say that never in the history of this country has there been such a colossal addition to the set of buildings housing the courts of our land. The record shows that even 30 courthouses have not been delivered to the Judicial Service within a continuous period of 10 years at any point in time. Indeed, my own hometown of Wenchi has not been left out in this golden age of infrastructure development of the law. The administrator of the Judicial Assembly's Common Fund has graciously released funds for the construction of a new court complex to house the Wenchi High Court, which is in fact one of the oldest in the whole of Bono and Ahafo, as well as the Circuit Court and the District Court. At this point, Mr. President, it is fitting to acknowledge the zeal and determination of His Lordship, the Chief Justice, Justice Nhyiaeso, as well as his immediate predecessor, the distinguished Lady Chief Justice Akufo-Addo, in driving these projects thus far. The unrelenting desire to ensure the expansion of judicial facilities around the country has been a significant feature of their tenure as Chief Justices. This undoubtedly has been the motivating factor for the regular engagement the current Chief Justice has had with district assemblies and other institutions of relevance around the country towards securing their cooperation for realizing this noble accomplishment. I have no doubt in my mind that as the clock slowly winds down on his tenure as Chief Justice, posterity will look kindly back on the construction, on the contribution he has made to the expansion of the fiscal infrastructure of the Judicial Service. Again, it will be woefully neglectful not to pay tribute to the vision and dedicated support of the dynamic and indefatigable administrator of the Common Fund, Mrs. Nhyiaeso Latte, my former senior colleague in the extraordinary law firm of Akufo-Addo, whose drive and vision have led to realization of this day. Constitutionally, the District Assembly's Common Fund is distributed among all the district assemblies on the basis of the formula approved by Parliament. Through the dynamism of the current administrator, part of the fund has been deployed for the financing of this project, after having been approved by Parliament in accordance with Article 257, Clause 3 of the Constitution. Mrs. Nhyiaeso Latte's intervention in the construction of over 100 courthouses and a total of 160 bungalows for justices in the country is like the biblical fresh water in a thirsty land and streams on dry land. I must commend Parliament for the support it gave in this regard. I will, however, urge Parliament to do more, as we need more courthouses. Dilapidated structures housing courts around the country have to be redesigned and or reconstructed to suit the current demands of justice delivery. The iconic first Supreme Court building in Cape Coast, now housing the High Court, readily comes to mind. Even as we are on the verge of constructing new High Court premises opposite Adisade College, and I must say that the choice is fitting, because Adisade is a breeding ground for lawyers. we must endeavor to put the old High Court building in Cape Coast in order to preserve its unique place in the history of Ghana as the first Nation Supreme Court. Mr. President, the construction of any building, of course, requires land. The provider of the basic infrastructure for the construction of a building thus plays a fundamental part in that endeavor. It is for this reason that special gratitude must go to the Akufo-Addo, His Royal Majesty, 16th occupant of Golden Seal of Ashanti, Otumfuo-Osei II, for his magnanimity in dominating the 7-acre piece of land on which stands these majestic buildings. Otumfuo, we are eternally grateful to you. As Attorney General Minister for Justice, access to justice is of prime importance to me, as I'm cognizant of its value in serving as a fulcrum for the overall development and prosperity of our nation. A significant feature of access to justice is the closeness of institutions of justice delivery to the people. Access to justice can have a snowball effect on development in other sectors of the economy. It is a catalyst for inclusiveness and an eliminator of inequality in society. Indeed, the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, in addressing the issue of access to justice, have as its overarching principle, and I quote, leave no one behind. At all levels, end of quote. By increasing the number of courts in this country, Ghana no doubt is moving closer to achieving the primary goals of the UN Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. It's only fit and proper that we acknowledge these achievements. Mr. President, I once again congratulate all who have played a role in ensuring the success of this project. I'm confident that it will go a long way to assist the judiciary in the execution of its all-important mandate under the Constitution of Ghana. God bless us all. Thank you very much.
The nation's Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, thank you very much. Honorable Toshi, it seems like every speaker mentioned your name. And it seems to me you are doing a very good job. So I have bestowed the title Champion Woman on you. Toshi, the Champion Woman. Your Excellency, we have more than 50 lawyers and judges here to grace this occasion. And indeed, as the Honorable Regional Minister said, not a month will pass by without the presence of the Chief Justice here. Right from day one, he promised to make sure that the interests of judges and magistrates are paramount to him. And I would like to invite the Chief Justice of the Republic, His Lordship, Justice Nhyiaeso, to give us a brief remark.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, His Royal Majesty, the Ashanti Otumfuo-Osei II, Honorable Ashanti Regional Minister, Honorable First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Members of Parliament, Members of Council of State, Justices of the Superior Courts of Judicature, Nana Mampohene, Nana Nom, the clergy, the Administrator of the Disassembly Common Fund, Service Commanders, Judges of the Lower Court, Directors and Deputy Directors of the Judicial Service, Members of Staff, the Regional Chief Imam, friends from the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor and a great pleasure to welcome you all to this brief but important ceremony, the inauguration of the newly constructed residential complex for Justices of the Court of Appeal here at Denyame. Today's event marks an epoch in the history of the judicial service of Ghana. Of course, our journey so far has not all smooth sailing, even as we have worked at improving the legal and constitutional framework within which we operate and sought to enforce the highest standards of professionalism among all strands of the judicial system. We have also had to deal with the lack and the distress.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the President's Regional Tours, a production by the Ministry of Information. If you've been watching already, we've been bringing you a live feed from the Nhyiaeso township in the Ashanti region, where President Akufo-Addo is scheduled to commission the residential accommodation for appeals court judges. That ceremony has already begun, and it's part of the many activities on the itinerary of the President as he begins a 4-day working visit of the Ashanti region. That visit started yesterday, and before we end, we will bring you a summary of some of the major activities that the President was involved in. Welcome to our special coverage once again. My name is Akufo-Addo, and this coverage is live on GTV, City TV, Adom TV, Metro TV. We are on ETV, Wezo TV, and if you're listening to us on radio, this is Asase Radio, as well as Tansan Radio in Wa. We're also streaming live on the social media of the Facebook page of the Ministry of Information. Right now, though, let's take you live to Nhyiaeso, where that ceremony is still ongoing. Remember, President Akufo-Addo will be commissioning the residential accommodation for the appeals court judges, as well as also we are expecting to hear from the Asante Hene Otumfuo-Osei-Tutu II, who is also at the ceremony. Let's cross over now and join our man Wilberforce Asari. Don't forget that after this ceremony, the President will also be inspecting work at the Kejetia Central Market Phase 2 project. We also have our reporter Akufo-Addo on standby, waiting to bring you all that you need to know, including the big interviews right here on the special coverage of the President's regional tour. Let's bring in Wilberforce Asari, who is joining us live now from that ceremony, the commissioning of the residential accommodation for appeals court judges at Nhyiaeso. Wilberforce, if you can hear me, we've been hearing and seeing various personalities address the gathering. We're expecting to hear from the Asante Hene himself as well as the President. Let's hear from you what has been happening so far. Plus, you also have some personalities who you will be speaking to. Wilberforce will join us very shortly. But let's cross over now to Akufo-Addo, who is stationed at the Kejetia Central Market Phase 2 project. That's where President Akufo-Addo will be heading to right after the commissioning ceremony. Akufo-Addo, I can see you. Tell us what to expect when the President arrives at this site.
Kwaku mamema ene ahwefo ne atefo nyina akwaba to the Kumasi Central Market Phase 2. This is directly opposite the Phase 1 here in Penfo Epa ho entuma nansia na ha ene yehwere mu se President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will be coming to inspect progress of work of the Kumasi Central Market Phase 2. Here, Beboa accommodating over 3,000 traders here on the Central Business District of Kumasi. Now, over PM Awahadamwa, contractors said Omo Edi and Komono Achem said, Ajumano Eko Nanemu Yepa. They are just about 47% of Ajumaya or more yet to ensure somebody Ajuman Entem, the Tama Yede Amo. Everybody is set, the market traders here and check. You wage made the best more ensano or munina ewahanum. Sounds so and a contractors see also take charge of this project. So if you look at my back, you can see the workers at my back who are lined up waiting for the arrival of President arrives at the
Kejetia Central Market Phase 2 project. He will be inspecting work there, and our man Akufo-Addo will be joining us with all the details and all the big interviews that you need to know right here on our special coverage of the President's regional tours. Don't forget that the President has begun a 4-day working visit of the Ashanti region. Let's go back to Nhyiaeso, where our man Wilberforce Asari is also monitoring that ceremony, the commissioning of the residential accommodation for appeals court judges. Wilberforce, good to have you once again. So take us through what has been happening, and I can see you have some personalities. You also want to, ask some questions. Please take over.
We have our refer to the
all right, Kweku, I can tell you that there is a very high build-up of state energy and also judicial energy here at Nhyiaeso.
All right, we would work out.
Yes, Kweku, I can hear you.
Wilberforce, as he is currently at the commissioning of the residential accommodation for appeals court judges. That's a ceremony currently underway at Nhyiaeso in the Ashanti region. It's part of the many activities that President Akufo-Addo is taking part in as part of his holy working visit of that region. Yesterday, the president began his tour of the Ashanti region. Just to take you through some of the activities that took place. So the president attended a church service at the St. Cyprian Anglican Church. He was also at the Menchia Palace to pay a courtesy call on the Asante Hene and Asante Man, the traditional council that makes up the Asante Man. He was also at the Bonkra Inland Port project to inspect progress of work. The president then commissioned the Konongo Municipal Hospital, and then he also commissioned the 30 kilowatts Kumasi Bokatanka transmission, which is funded by AD. So these are some of the activities that the president took part in on day one of his working visit of the Ashanti region. Before we wrap up this segment, we'll bring you a summary of some of the major speeches and the major activities that formed day one of his tour of the Ashanti region. Right now, though, I'm told Wilberforce Asari's sound is working now and he can hear us. Wilberforce, if you can hear us, take us through what has been happening so far.
That there is a very huge build-up of state energy and also judicial energy here at Nhyiaeso in the Ashanti region.
All right, so Wilberforce Asari, we will try and work out your sound and come back to you. But don't forget that the president will be commissioning that residential accommodation for appeals court judges. That ceremony is actually ongoing in the Ashanti region. We're also expecting the Asante Hene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II to be addressing the gathering at this ceremony. Later on, the president will move and inspect the KGTS Central Market Phase 2 project. He will also be inspecting the maternal and children's block project, which is also at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. He will then commission the ECG Cath primary substation and then also attend a Deba of Chiefs and People of Twaso and also the commissioning of the Twaso Magistrate Court. So quite a busy day for the president in the Ashanti region, and we will be bringing you all that you need to know right here on this special coverage of the president's regional tours, produced and brought to you by the Ministry of Information. Let's take another try at Wilberforce and find out if he can hear us this time from Nhyiaeso, where the president is scheduled to commission the residential accommodation for appeals court judges. Wilberforce, you can take over now.
All right, so there is a huge build-up of state energy and also judicial energy here at Nhyiaeso, where the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in the company of the Asante Hene Otumfuo Osei Tutu, and also the Chief Justice of the Republic, Justice Kwesi Nhyiaeso, have gathered to commission the residential complex for appeal court judges here in the Ashanti region. Over the last 30 or so minutes, several persons have been speaking here ahead of the address of the Asante Hene and also that of the President of the Republic of Ghana. And so we have heard from the regional minister here in the Ashanti region. We have also heard from a representative from the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development. We have also heard from the Parliamentary Select Committee on Judiciary, and the Chief Justice of the Republic, Justice Nhyiaeso, has also spoken. Momentarily, the Asante Hene Otumfuo Osei Tutu will be addressing this gathering, and also the President will speak before he commissions the 20 buildings that are behind us. As you can see, one of them beautifully designed there behind us. I have with me the project architect and also the project manager. And I'm going to be engaging them to tell us essentially about this project that President Akufo-Addo has come to Nyyiaeso in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, to commission. We are told that this project is made up of about 20 components, together with a clubhouse and also a guest house facility. Let me engage Betty. Ladies first. Betty is the project architect, and she's going to tell us exactly the composition of this project as has been designed. Good afternoon to you, Betty, to tell us exactly what is the composition of this project that is going to be commissioned today by the President.
Thank you very much. We have 20 housing units, that 24-bedroom houses. Each comes with 2-bedroom outhouse and a security post. We also have a 7-bedroom guest house, as well as a clubhouse which consists of a gymnasium, a sauna, and about 5 private lounges. Again, we have a tennis court, a swimming pool, and other well-landscaped areas for relaxation. So far, this is the composition of the project we are all seeing today.
Indeed. All right. So to my right is the project manager, and that's Mr. Fosuhini. Is that correct? Yes, Mr. Fosuhini. So, Mr. Fosuhini, tell us. Betty has given us the composition of the project. But tell us, when did this project commence? How long did it take you to do this project? And what really has gone into it, even in terms of cost?
Sure. This project started in April 2021. That's last year. And was supposed to be for a duration of 18 months. But we are proud to say that we've been able to do it within record time. We've been within schedule, I'll say even ahead of schedule. And that's laudable. In terms of the project cost, at the sword cutting ceremony, we all got to know that it was at about 77 million Ghana cedis. And so that's what we've worked with. Of course, there's been a few variations here and there, mainly because of fluctuations, but it is what it is.
Indeed, it is what it is. And, again, talking about the building, I see them. They are very beautiful buildings. They look similar. If somebody walked into the building, what is the person going to see? What's inside? What's the composition inside the building?
So, just like my colleague architect mentioned, we have 20 houses. Each house is a 2-story building. It has a living room, a dining, a kitchen, 4 bedrooms. More importantly, a study area. And that was very important because of the nature of the jobs of our honorable appeal court judges. So really and truly, that is what you're seeing there, with other user spaces for, like family areas and so on and so forth.
So you are saying that even at home, you want the judges to be working and researching and looking into their books?
We want them to be able to sit in the luxury of their homes and be able to work in a very sound manner.
Indeed. All right. So let me come to you again, Betty, and to tell us. I'm seeing a very beautiful landscape. Tell us, what has gone into designing this entire landscape here in this facility?
I would say that a lot has gone into that. It's very important in as much as we put up buildings. Soft landscape spaces are very, very important. Psychologically, greeneries help, in the work that we do as human beings, especially with our judges who are high learned. Sometimes, after a hard day's work, when you get home, you need such spaces that will tone your stress down. By the mere fact of viewing these spaces really helps you, and then at the end of the day, it calms you down and helps in the work that you do.
Indeed. All right. So we are going to come back to the interviews because President of the Republic, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, is currently addressing the gathering. It is extremely important that we pick the President's address. And so let me hand you over back to our production studios as we pick the address of the President. After the President, I'm going to engage the Judicial Director for Estates and other persons who are here. And so this is a production from the Ministry of Information. Let's cross over to the podium as we hear from the
fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, in the majestic presence of the Ashanti Oyoko PSA, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, I cut the sword for the commencement of work to begin on the construction of a Court of Appeal residential complex in Kumasi. 18 months down the line, we're gathered again in the same majestic presence of the Ashanti to commission this residential complex. I must at the very outset express the appreciation and gratitude of government and the people of Ghana to the Ashanti and Ashanti Mine for their immense support for this project, including the generous donation of the land. The efforts of Chief Justice Nhyiaeso, his predecessor, Chief Justice Akufo-Addo, the former Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Hajia Alima Mahama, the current Minister for Local Government Decentralization and Rural Development, the Honorable Dan Boche, Member of Parliament for Okre, and the Honorable Irene Nhyiaeso,
They will come back to me after the president.
All right, so we will take you back to Nhyiaeso, where President Akufo-Addo is currently addressing a gathering and will later on commission the residential accommodation for appeals court charges. That ceremony is currently underway at Nhyiaeso in the Ashanti region. Remember, the president yesterday began a 4-day working visit of the Ashanti region, and here at the Ministry of Information, we're bringing you a live coverage of that tour. We will also take you around other activities involving the president, which will include the inspection of the KGTR Central Market Phase 2 project. We will take you there shortly for that feed. Right now, though, let's take you back to Nhyiaeso and take you
to help bridge the technology gap in the administration of justice. We've launched the e-justice system, which is designed to leverage technology in the delivery of justice. And we're also addressing the challenge posed by the inadequate number of courts in various parts of the country, resulting in citizens traveling long distances to gain access to courts and thereby weakening the rule of law. I assure you that we will do more as demanded by the Chief Justice. Policies to advance the rule of law and thereby restore the confidence, reinforce the confidence of the people, and shore up our nation's reputation as a country governed by the rule of law. The Ghanaian people have resolved to build under God a united nation grounded on democratic values and attachment to the rule of law, which they are determined to maintain even in these difficult times. We have gone a long way towards realizing this goal, and I'm confident that with a spirit of reconciliation, fairness, integrity, and hard work, the best days of Mother Ghana lie ahead. Together, we're laying the platform for the evolution of a new Ghanaian civilization, which will give true meaning to the foundational values of freedom and justice on which our nation was conceived. May God bless us all, and may God bless our homeland Ghana, and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
So you just heard President Akufo-Addo address the gathering at the commissioning of the residential accommodation for appeal courts judges at Nhyiaeso. That ceremony is still ongoing. The president is due to inspect the facility, after which he will formally commission it and hand it over to the judicial service. Earlier you heard speeches from the regional minister. We also heard from the Attorney General, and of course the president himself spoke a while ago. We will take you back to the ceremonial grounds and hear from some of the architects, some of the officials gathered at this ceremony who will be telling us more about the work that has gone into this whole project. In fact, let's cross over now and bring in our man Wilberforce Asari, who is at Nhyiaeso at this ceremony, to bring us all that we need to know. Wilberforce, if you can hear me.
All right, Kweku. So the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, has just addressed the gathering and has declared the projects here duly commissioned. However, there is a commissioning ceremony right behind us. The President is going to have to perform by cutting the tape to signify official opening of this facility for use by the Judicial Service of Ghana. I have with me the Mayor of Kumasi, Sampine, and I'm just going to engage him quickly and to ask him that, Mayor, so what would be your attitude about this project that is being commissioned by the President today as far as the adjudication of justice in the Ashanti region is concerned?
Absolutely fantastic, and we are grateful to the President and his team for this. There have been instances where issues, litigations are prolonged in the courts due to the delays of justices and judges coming to court. So I'm giving a reason of being maybe in Accra because of lack of accommodation, and or in Sunyani, or maybe between to come to Kumasi so that they will have time. And so it's an important thing that once we have these facilities, one, the delays in our education system is going to be minimal. Two, it's going to serve as a motivation for the staff of the judicial service, especially the justices, to work hard, because after all the hard work, they have a comfortable place to be, and their children can also grow in an environment that they will. It's a beautiful thing, and we are so much grateful to the president.
Well, one of the things that has come up as an issue is the issue about security. Justices require a lot of security. I'm seeing around, and I'm seeing that the community is walled and all that. But from where you sit, of course, you are part of the Regional Security Council and all that. What is the security measures you have put in place to ensure that the justices that will be living here will be assured of their security in and out?
This place in itself is a security zone. You say it borders the Regional Coordinating Council, and once it is walled and they have their security, though yes, we know the management of this facility is going to have private security, but the Regional Security Council is also going to make sure that we have our regular security to make sure they are safe.
We are told that in the region, apart from these edifices that have been built here, there are still some deficits in terms of judicial edifice. What are you doing as mayor to ensure that other projects that are pending get completed for the judiciary in this region?
Yeah, when you go to the other districts, of which I cannot speak for them, they all are also have been. For instance, tomorrow we'll be in, even today, we'll be in Tuasi to commission an ultra-modern court complex for the judiciary. And I know it's government priority to also make sure all especially the new regions that have been created, and all districts that do not have accommodation for the justices and the magistrates will have them. So it's an ongoing process, and that's in the speech of the president. We're going to have lots of them, if not delivered by close of year, by early next year.
All right, so I thank you very much, Sampai, for speaking with us. I'll allow you to go because I know you have a lot of things to do.
I need to run ahead of the president to the KGTR Central Market Complex today.
I understand that. Thank you very much for joining us. And so I've been joined by the Director of Estates at the Judicial Service of Ghana, Mr. Ablade. And so I'm going to engage him to find out. So Mr. Ablade, obviously the coming into being of these facilities has expanded your job.
Exactly. It has expanded our job. It's a massive investment of scarce state resources that must properly be maintained to serve its purpose.
All right, so I do know that being associated with the judiciary, when it comes to your estates, there has been deficits. Now we see the deficits being closed up. To what extent do you think this facility coming into being is going to help with the accommodation deficit of our judges in the country?
In fact, as at 2019, when we did the gap analysis, we needed to construct 381 residential facilities and 207 courthouses. So this facility, and then the over 100 courthouses being constructed, is achieving about 50% or closing the deficit to about 50%. We still need more investment. Well, out of the 207, we are doing just about 120 courthouses. And out of the 381, we are doing about 160 residential facilities across the country. So I would say nearly about 50%. So we still need more investments.
So indeed, about 50% of the deficit has been met. Going forward, what are some of the assurances you have with the remaining 50%?
Yes, government we know is committed, but we also understand there are challenges in the economy. So we will continue to engage government and then all the stakeholders where they support us even though to close this infrastructural gap, because the facilities that judges use for the execution of their mandate are in the deployable states. When you travel across the country and when you see the state, it's very, very sorry state of a judiciary. But we thank God, government has bought into our proposal, has accepted the challenge, and they are taking the right step even though to close the gap. And we are hopeful going forward, government will still continue to partner us even as we seek to close the infrastructural gap.
Okay, so this particular facility that is right behind us, that is going to be commissioned. During the construction, I know you were deeply involved and all that. Are you satisfied with the provisions that have been made in the facility? We are told it's 4-bedroom, it has outhouses, it has kitchens. Are you satisfied? Do you think the judges will be satisfied with the provisions made?
Exactly. They'll be very satisfied, but we gave them the brief for that. A residential house for a judge is not an ordinary residential house. They also work within that space. So we have provided a study where they will be comfortable to discharge their duties at home, even as they prepare to come to court. So they'll be very happy. We have provided fully furnished rooms, beds, equipment, and everything that will help them focus on the work they are doing and not to be concerned about having to rent where a landlord is chasing you for their rent, where any interaction with them will be viewed by a contemporary or your adversary as being compromising the integrity of a judge in any situation.
Okay, so I saw that there is a facility manager's office.
Yes.
I need you to tell us what exactly is the facility manager going to be doing. I know maintenance and all that, but what is the, as it were, his line of duty outlined by your office for him as a facility manager?
First of all, we have our general estate department and then with the structures. But this, as you can see, is a magnificent edifice. And we are providing a dedicated facilities management team, a facilities manager and his technical team who will be here 24/7 to provide support for any issues that will happen. They will be funded accordingly to ensure that regular maintenance is attended to, and then we keep the facility running.
Okay, so I see that the facility also has a guest house. Yes. What's the rationale behind the guest house facility here?
You know, we have judges coming over from Accra to come and then attend to official duties. They may not be part of those residing here, and obviously they may have to go to a hotel, rent a hotel accommodation. It comes with exorbitant costs, and there are security implications. So having provided this facility, we expect that our judges in transit will find a conducive place where nobody will question their integrity, mingling with others in using. But it's a strictly judges' affair over here. And then we also have in the guest house, which has a gym, gymnasium, a sauna, massage parlor, and then a pool top bar where the judges can relax, engage themselves, socialize, and then distress from their very, very stressful judicial work that they do.
All right, indeed. So, Mr. Ablade, I'm going to allow you to go. Thank you very much for speaking with us. And so you've been listening to Mr. Ablade. He is the Director of Estates for the Judicial Service of Ghana. What it means is that all of judicial service facilities, the Supreme Court as you see it in Accra, the Law Court Complex as you see it in Accra, and the Court of Appeal buildings here in Kumasi, and all other court facilities across our country. He is responsible for the maintenance of same, and he joined us to give us a conversation on his plan for this facility. The ceremony here, I can tell you, has ended, and pretty soon President Akufo-Addo is going to be walking down the aisle and come over to the red carpet as has been laid. He will be coming to this facility, and as you can see, there is a ribbon that has been laid. There's one in front of the entrance. There is another one by the main door of plus 10. And so the building that President Akufo-Addo is going to cut the tape to symbolize the commissioning is plot 10. And that's where President Akufo-Addo will be coming with the Ashanti. As I speak with you now, President Akufo-Addo and Ashanti are coming off the base, and they will be walking majestically to come to the premises here to cut the sword. I've been joined by another gentleman, and please come closer to me. Please mention your name to me and your role.
I'm a resident of Nhyiaeso. My name is Nhyiaeso.
So you're a resident here at Nhyiaeso. So tell us, as a resident, I'm sure you were aware or you saw the process that this whole facility went through before it was constructed. Are you surprised?
Very, very surprised. Very, very surprised. I think last year we saw something happening around here. Some of us were asking whether this was a private property or something like that. Later we got to know that the government is preparing it for our appeal court justice, and we were so fascinated about it. But today I am so surprised. because the time frame within which it was done is very, very nice. And I think that when you enter the edifice, you see that yes, the work is perfect. The work is very, very perfect.
All right, so obviously, you being a resident here, you live close by the courts, I believe. You may have access justice or be involved with anybody who has access justice. To what extent do you think this facility is going to help with the adjudication of justice here in the Ashanti region and beyond?
I think this is a plus for everybody, for the government as well. Hitherto, I knew one of the judges, and he very close. And where the judge was staying, sometimes when I get close and get to the place, sometimes is this a place where a judge should live? And I think that this one will enhance their confidence. It will boost their morale to do the work better. And in the same vein, I think it's good for security. So all of them are staying around one place, and the security is tight, and they have other facilities, recreational facilities, guest house facilities, restaurant, canteens. I think it's perfect. I think it should be emulated and multiplied in other regions too.
Indeed. And President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, in your shot currently is cutting the tape to symbolize the official commissioning of this facility. I can see a lot of laughter amongst the officials. The former Chief Justice of Akufu is there. The Deputy Minister for Local Government is there. The President himself is there. I can see the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, the Ashanti, and several others. President Akufo-Addo is holding it. He has cut the tape, and so officially the complex here, the residential complex for Appeal Court Justices of the Republic of Ghana, have been duly commissioned by the President of the Republic, and he is going on to unveil the plaque that has been done here beautifully to symbolize that he indeed came to come and commission. We are told that after that, President Akufo-Addo will walk into plot 10, which is the first building you can see here, and he will officially, as it were, inspect the interior of the building. He will walk through the hall, he will walk through the kitchen, he will walk through the study area, and he will go to the bedrooms and probably go to the outhouse and the security facility here to engage with the people. So President Akufo-Addo currently in your shot is walking majestically into the facility. One of the buildings has been built, and you will be entering to inspect together with the Ashanti Osei-Tutu, who is here to grace the occasion. And so President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, has officially commissioned the residential complex of the Appeals Court judges here at Nhyiaeso, where the justices of the Court of Appeal, one of the superior courts of judicature, are going to be residing whenever they come to the Ashanti region to adjudicate cases. And so President Akufo-Addo is currently entering together with the Ashanti into plot 10, which is the first facility you can see when you come here to this community that has been built for our judges. The President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, has entered the facility together with the Ashanti. They are inspecting the facility. I must say that earlier on, I had the opportunity to go into the building. The place is fully furnished. There are beds, there are sitting room sofa, there are kitchen facilities, the gas cookers, electric cookers, water heater, everything is installed, and all the judges need to do is to move their clothing and they will be in the building to enjoy the facility. And so this facility, we are told, is a 4-bedroom house which has been built with a 2-bedroom outhouse for obviously the security of the judges who will be covering or who will be ensuring the security of the judges. Again, indeed, the outhouses are designed such that it's also self-contained, and so those who will be living in the outhouses will not have any interaction with the judges who will be living in the 4-bedroom facilities that have been built all across here
in Nhyiaeso. Indeed, this occasion has seen tremendous energy from the judicial service and also from the state. From the judicial service because the president of the Ghana Bar Association, Mr. Nhyiaeso, is here representing the entire bar of the Republic of Ghana. Beyond that, you have officials from the judicial service, justices of the Superior Courts of Judicature, who have also come here to grace this occasion. You also have justices of the other courts, the High Court and other lower courts. Again, you have members of the bar. That's extremely important because they interact with these judges in their courtrooms, and when the judges are at peace, they will indeed be at peace to adjudicate their cases properly. And so members of the bar have graced this occasion. I've seen several members of the bar, senior lawyers alike. The former president of the Ghana Bar Association, Mr. Jemfi, who was president of the Ghana Bar some 21 years ago, is here. The immediate past president of the Ghana Bar Association, Tony Forson, is also here. Several other lawyers who are here, Gary Nimako and what have you. In fact, from where I am standing, I can actually see the Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Yomi Kolendi, coming out of the facility. And so indeed, this has been a very interesting occasion and a very joyful one for people of the judicial service. If you heard the director of estates, he did tell us that from where he sits and being in charge of all the estates of the judiciary, he can comfortably tell us that by the efforts of government, about 50% of the deficit for accommodation and court facilities for the judiciary is being met. He says that there is still about 50% deficit, which he believes that by the efforts of government in the future, that other 50% will also be taken care of. President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, together with the Ashanti Akufo-Addo II, have finished inspecting the facility plot 10. They have gone into the building, they have seen the facility. President Akufo-Addo, I can see, is out of the building now, and he's interacting with some queen mothers and some other people who have gathered here. His security are ushering him into the building, and from here, President Akufo-Addo will depart to continue with the tour of the Ashanti region. And so if you are just listening to us, you are listening to a live coverage of the Ministry of Information, bringing you live feeds from the Ashanti region, where President Akufo-Addo is touring the entire region. He has just finished inspecting the facility here at Nhyiaeso, a facility, residential complex for Court of Appeal judges of the Republic of Ghana. And from where I am standing, I can see the Chief Justice together with the Ashanti interaction there. Indeed. And so if you are been following what has been happening, we've been bringing you live coverage of President Akufo-Addo's commissioning of the complex facility for judicial service. And we are told that this facility has 20 buildings, 20 residential accommodation for judges. It is made up of 4-bedroom buildings, or 4 bedrooms. It also has a hall, kitchen, a study area, and a 2-bedroom outhouse for the helps and the security of the justices who will be living here in this facility. And so we've been bringing you a live coverage of this ceremony. President Akufo-Addo has commissioned the buildings, and so what it means is that beginning from today, justices of the Superior Court can move in and enjoy the facility. President Akufo-Addo has departed. He is heading to the Akufo-Addo Teaching Hospital, where he will be inspecting a facility there. He will be inspecting, he's first going to the central market, and at the central market, he will inspect a facility there. After inspecting that facility, he will make his way to the Akufo-Addo Teaching Hospital, where he will inspect another facility. So, Kweku, I can tell you that the ceremony here has ended. The Court of Appeal residential facility has been duly commissioned. It is open for judges to live in and to adjudicate cases here in the Ashanti region. I will cross over to you, Kweku, as we build up momentum to go to the other location where my colleague Akwesi and Sami Nhyiaeso are located. Kweku Obey.
All right, Wilberforce Asari bringing us those live updates from Nhyiaeso, where President Akufo-Addo has just commissioned the residential accommodation for appeals court judges. As you saw on your screens, that is a lovely edifice for the appeals court judges. So many people excited, and I'm sure you saw the drone shots, a very, very well-structured facility that will help the judicial service in our country. And of course, we heard from the president himself as he addressed the gathering. Just to take you through a few lines of what the president said, he said the commissioning of the massive infrastructure development will motivate the judiciary and the delivery of justice. The president also said that his government would not relent in transforming justice delivery in the country. He said the infrastructure development coupled with a massive transformational agenda of the justice system in his administration will give true meaning to the foundational value of freedom and justice on which our nation was conceived. So just a few lines from the president's address when he commissioned the residential accommodation for appeals court judges. That ceremony has just ended. And don't forget that the president is in the Ashanti region for a 4-day working visit. The tour of the visit started actually yesterday. And today the president will continue with numerous activities and meetings which are part of his working visit of the Ashanti region. Don't forget that shortly we will take you to the Kejetia Central Market Phase 2 project, where the president is scheduled to inspect the progress of work there. That is in the Subing constituency of the Ashanti region. Remember, this is a special coverage of our president's regional tours produced by the Ministry of Information. We're live on GTV, City TV, Adum TV, Metro TV, ETV, Nhyiaeso TV. If you're listening to us on radio, you are live on Happy FM, Asasi Radio, Tongson Radio in Wa, and you're watching us on Facebook, on the Ministry of Information Facebook page. Well, as I did mention, the president yesterday began his 4-day working visit of the Ashanti region. Just to take you through some of the activities that the president embarked on, the president paid a courtesy call on the Asantehene at the Menchia Palace. He was also at the Bonkra Inland Port Project, where he inspected the progress of work. That's at Bonkra in Nhyiaeso. He also commissioned the Konongo Municipal Hospital at Asante Achim Central. The president then also commissioned a 30-kilowatt Kumasi Bogatanga transmission, which is funded by the AFD. And of course, he also inspected progress of work on the Ofori Chrome Agenda 111 hospital project.